I'm gonna try to reweave it. Yeah. So basically I wet it and then I mix red, like I turn it.
This was really badly insect damaged, and so there was insect debris and like half tooth feather everywhere.
Oh, you're retwisting it. I see, okay.
I retwist it. And then I'm gonna retwist all of them.
In this area, there's too much fuzz missing and you could see the splotchy canvas. So I put a backing of Polytex actually that I toned to match the color, the ombre effect of the feathers. Here's a place where it's just toned and not touched up. Here too. I might snip that corner.
You're always thinking, what was the process of the artist? How is all this happening in his head?
I respond to the presence of things. I respond to the presence of different people. Everything that I do and everything that I'm thinking about is part of, you know, like all of the things that made my life unique for myself. Okay, my name is Carlos Pedro Villa. I was born in San Francisco. My parents came from the Philippines. I was brought up in the Tenderloin.
At the time of civil rights going on in San Francisco, but when Carlos came to the Art Institute, Carlos went to the library and he wanted to get all the works that on Filipino art. And the professor told him, there is no Filipino art. And that really shattered him. He felt, first of all, he felt insignificant and challenged by it.
That was a thorn in his side, and I say it's like the grain of sand that irritates the oyster, and he made it a pearl. Because then his goal was to invent a kind of expression that would acknowledge that he was a person that came from a Pacific Islander culture.
I wanted to do something about stories, reminiscences that I've had about my family, my uncles. This one right here is called my father walking up Kearny Street for the very first time. And on either side, it says pressing. It says pressure. And it says silence. And it says self-loathe. Those are the states of being when I felt my father going up Kearny Street for the very first time.
He began to prove that yes, there is Filipino art, there has been and there always will be, and I will spread the word, you know, and that's what he did. And not just Filipino art. All women who were not included, and people of color, and for whatever reason, all the people that have been left out, he invited them to be part of exhibits or talks that they would have, these symposiums, and people from all over San Francisco came to these symposiums.
He said San Francisco was a perfect place to organize multicultural symposia and conversations because any bus ride that you took in San Francisco traversed different neighborhoods where different languages were being spoken, and all you needed to do was to bring that energy together and you would have a diverse conversation.
heroes and unknowns, not ageless, ready, forgetting, nothing survives.
Come back out. I want you over more toward the door, more than twice as much.
Like here?
More. Yes.
Leaning. Breathing.
I'm pulling out.
I live in Oakland and I've been here in the Bay Area for a long time, so it gives you pride that artists, local artists are being, getting the attention that they deserve. It's a privilege, really, to be doing this, yes.
So you can bring the needle out at the edge of that paint splotch. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, right there, that's perfect.
Treating feathers, it's a specialty on its own.
Yeah, it is.
You know, we just clean a lot in between the feathers, but you know.
And some of the passages, the sewn passages had flipped so that the feathers were facing the wrong direction, and so I would re-flip them back and stabilize them if necessary. Oh, that's very cute. Okay.
It's cute. Really. Okay. Anything that is super soft, like this is.
This one's soft.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah.
Well, part of what we do in conservation is we try to go back and see other works from the artist to compare and see the feel of the art. He was working on stretched canvas and feathers, and he was incorporating also bones and chicken bones. The fragility of the pieces, they're so prone to infestation that many didn't survive.
I painted paintings that were basically, for myself, ritualistic in terms of discovery that I had made about, you know, like looking at African art, Aboriginal art, art from Polynesia. It overwhelmed me, and I loved it. And at the same time, I didn't want to copy it. And I started doing paintings that involved ritual. I have a painting in which I was happy that my friend came. We went out and we went to KFC and bought chicken legs, and I washed the bones after a while. I put the bones on the painting. That was part of the painting too. All the questions that I've asked of myself or I've asked of my art were answered by art. But the thing that wasn't answered was the idea of being Filipino and being an artist. And so that was never answered. And so I had to consciously go into that. And so that's why I was doing stuff in which I was involved in the ritual of making paint.
He used those things to create the pieces that showed putting himself out, doing his performance, taking off his clothes and performing and saying, I have nothing to hide. In fact, I have something to show. And that was the healing. His pieces helped him heal from all of the scars that he had. And so he just defied it and gave other people permission to defy it and maybe show it in their work or in their personality or in your ambition. You become more ambitious when you think there's a possibility. And watching other people succeed was part of the joy that kept him trying to succeed himself.
The lesson that I always go back to from Carlos was this idea that your role as an artist is not just to be alone in your studio, just making things. That your role as an artist is to be a community member, to be a scholar, but not necessarily a traditional scholar. You can be a street scholar, you know, and you are participating on so many different levels, that you are an activist, and that you are ultimately part of a system that is leveraging, you know, I think, more opportunity for everybody.
It feels great to have contributed to the survival of an important piece of art so that other people can enjoy it.
We're concerned that the piece will stay safe. We're we want for it to stay stable in the future because we are very aware that it's still a very fragile object. But it's amazing to see the work after you're so intimate for so many months and days, and so many decisions that there's like a whole process. And just to see it back in the gallery, it's a lot of pride.